pulling out a rock with pretty far along.
Yeah,
Size like from the car there.
geez, were you visiting somebody there?
They
Very
cool,
nice one.
so what it cool, said,
Recording in
block of lights, they hit the side of your car and kept going. I said, yeah, he texted me.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the City of Kingston Planning Board meeting. Today is March 18, 2024. My name is Suzanne Cahill. I'm the Planning Director for the City of Kingston. Just a few quick announcements before we begin. I ask everybody to please silence your cell phones if you have them, so that we do not interrupt the meeting that's going on. If you do need to have a conversation, we just ask that you take it outside of the room. I know that the council chambers are being used
For Central
this
Hudson?
evening.
No.
Yeah, this,
For
He's-
planning?
Lyndon, yes.
Some,
Yeah, you can come have a seat and you'll be called up.
Please, Central Hudson is using the council chambers for a meeting. So if you want to use the conference room on the other side, that's free.
You're the first.
Also, please know that if there is an emergency, we ask that you do not use the elevator. Please use the stairs. If you need assistance, ask and we will help you. I'm going to now call the meeting to order at 6:01, and I'm going to turn it over to Wayne Platt, our chairman, to introduce the commission member or board members and the others present.
Okay, thank you, Suzanne. Introduction of board members. My name is Wayne Platt, as Susan Cahill said. We also have members Charles Palaco, Robert Jacobson, Matt Gillis, Vince Archer, and Kyra Grundig. Suzanne Cahill, as you've met, is our planning director. Kyla Dede is the assistant planner. Matthew Jankowski is our city's assistant corporation counsel, and we also have Alderwoman Sarah Pasty, who is the common council liaison to the planning board. I should make that, yes, okay. Sage Newkirk and Andrew Harris are not present. First item on the agenda, regular business, is adoption of the February 20th, 2024 planning board meeting minutes and transcripts. Everybody's had an opportunity to take a look at them. Any questions, deletions, additions this time? Okay, at this time, we'll make a motion that we adopt them. Do I have a second? Second by Charles Palaco. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Okay, item number 2 is, this is going to public hearings now. Item number 2 is 73-75 Furnace Street. It's a special permit renewal to operate a 4-room boarding house. Section block and lot is 56.92-4-42, secret termination, transect zone T4N-L, Ward 4, Lyndon Peter, the applicant owner. Is there anybody besides the applicant owner wishing to speak on item number 2? Okay, nobody is present for that. Mr. Peters,
yes, sir.
welcome. How are you? Lyndon
Okay.
Peters is here.
I just have a little bit more work to do, like cosmetic paintings.
Okay. We understand, before we get in, we understand that building safety had scheduled some inspections to take place there,
Yeah,
but
it was done on the 11th.
you did not show for them.
Pardon me?
You did not show for those
No,
inspections.
the inspection was done and by, let me see, I have a picture of the first inspection. Okay, the guy stick it on the window. I have a picture of that.
But we have word from building safety that the inspection has never taken place. That's
That's
the word we got from them. So that's what we're going to go
The
with.
inspection on him. It was stuck on the glass where they,
Okay, that's not the building department, that's the electrical inspection.
and that was the only inspection I know I had.
That was the electrical inspection
Yeah.
for the roughing.
Right. Yeah, you need to, when you were in the office filing your paperwork,
Right,
we
but I
told
thought
you,
that
we told
inspection,
you to
because the
get
guy
in touch.
is.
Right, we asked for you to get in touch with the building department to
Right.
schedule an inspection. Have you done that? Because they
But
don't
this
have
is the
anything.
inspection that I thought I had to get.
No, you need to get a building inspection. You need a building inspector to come and look at the premises and
Okay.
identify, because part of the renewal process, if you weren't complete, we wanted to just have a gauge of what work had gotten done, and where things are at.
Everything
Did
else
you know
was
that
done
there
except
were
the
permits?
paint, I just got the inspection, for the, all it wanted was the electrical work to be done, and it's done. So, now I have to paint and get it ready for rental.
Okay,
But
you
that-
do need to reach out to the building department and
Okay.
schedule an inspection.
Okay,
Okay, they do need to go and look at everything. They're gonna look at the all the premises that you're gonna be using for the boarding house use. So
Okay.
they're gonna look at all your plumbing, all your electrical, see where everything is at. They
okay,
do know you do have a permits app, but they're not closed,
right,
okay?
And that electrical inspection, you're gonna get a final certificate. That has to go to the building department as well.
yes.
All right, so, I mean, really tonight, we can't make a decision on whether to renew your application until we have a complete inspection report from the Building Safety Division. So, before we can move forward, that has to take place, all right? And we want to establish a deadline for when that inspection has to occur by. We would like to have you appear before our meeting in April. The deadline for submitting an application for April's meeting is March 27th. So we would like to have that inspection completed by that date,
Okay,
okay? So we really can't do anything tonight to move this along until we need that inspection, okay?
okay,
So you get in touch with building safety, like I said, they have attempted a couple inspections here, I'm told, but you did not show for those inspections.
I didn't know I had,
I'm not gonna.
I had no knowledge I had.
Okay, so,
Other than the one for the electrical guy, because that's all had to be done.
yeah, and like Sue said, part of the renewal process for special permits is before you come for your interview to see if we're gonna renew it, an inspection has to be done by building safety. It's nothing to do with the electrical work you just had, it's just part of the process.
Okay.
So, we're gonna table tonight, we're gonna table this application. You get that inspection done by March 27th, is that acceptable as a date?
Right, and I would say that if there are issues, they'll get you the inspection report, but if there are issues, code issues that need to be addressed,
Mhm.
I would ask that you provide our office so that we can give to the board a timeline of when they'll be addressed and
Okay.
how you intend to address them. So
Okay.
if there's a plumbing issue, that you will reach out to your plumber and, he'll have this repaired or corrected within X amount of days.
Okay,
Just something along those lines, okay?
okay,
All right?
all right,
All right, so, March 27th, we're gonna look to have things completed, or, the process, you can have the inspection completed by then.
okay,
And then we'll see you at April's meeting, okay?
okay.
All right, any questions, any additional questions for the applicant?
Should put that into a motion.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. At this time, I'm gonna make a motion that we table item number 2 until the April meeting. Do I have a second on that? A second by Robert Jacobson. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you, Mr. Peters. We'll
Thank
see you
you
next
so
month, sir.
This belongs to me or no?
No, those-
Those are just.
It's- Okay. All right, you guys have it.
Take care now. Okay, moving on to item number 3 is new business. It's 350 Broadway. It's a site plan for construction to a rear second and third story addition onto an existing building for ground floor commercial with 7 residential units. Section block and lot is 56.26-11-49.100. Seeker determination, transect zone T5 MS. 350 China Cat LLC is the applicant owner. Welcome.
Thank you.
Can you state your name for the record, please?
Charles Brill. B as in boy, R as in Robert, I as in igloo, L as in Lima, L as in Lima.
Okay, welcome, sir. All right. So tell us what you're planning to do here.
Sure, so I purchased the building last fall, summer, fall. It had been vacant at least since the early nineties. There's some paperwork in there that was dated 91. And I'm interested in providing affordable housing to the Kingston community.
Okay.
I employ people in this area, and the one challenge to get people to move and get hired is finding great places to live.
Okay.
So I found this opportunity through a broker to renovate a pretty derelict building. There's some four-legged friends maybe that have been living in there over the last decade.
That
but
happens. That
We're
happens.
gonna file an eviction notice on it.
This is what's the building, in case you're curious.
The previous owner for maybe four years was a contractor, and he or she had done some interior demolition work, so it was pretty bare bones at the inside, but
Okay.
the intent is to use the existing floor plate, not expand it at all, just work within the existing. And the upper levels kind of have some stair step back, yeah, there's an image on the back, but the whole idea is to kind of maximize the footprint on the second and third floor.
Okay.
The ground floor will be modified slightly, so it's a pretty spacious retail space. But we're gonna put another affordable housing studio unit on the back of the building. And then the second and third floors are duplicate. So there's a one bedroom in the front, a studio in the middle, and a kind of a atrium courtyard area. And then the back is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath unit with a pretty large living room.
We got some pictures up here behind you too.
So looking at that, Charles, can you just kind of identify the sections of the building that you will be demolishing and where, kind of just show where the new construction will be going?
So this is an existing stair down to the basement. That's gonna be demolished. It's like a yellowy white structure. And then behind there is this red brick with the enclosed window. That's what I would call the back of the foundation. And that is the line that will continue up on the second and third floors. And the stair bump out is between the deeded parking spots and the foundation. And that's where outdoor, like an outdoor terrace and second means of egress will be provided to the back.
So
of the
that
building.
second story, though that's kind of going away, though, isn't a portion of that being that portion is being demolished where you have your finger?
Right, I mean, you could say that's being demolished, or you could say that it's kind of being, boxed out from the back.
Right.
Yeah, but there's not a lot of, that's a wood structure, so there's not a
Right, so
whole
you're
lot
not
there
gonna
to
use
salvage.
that structure, though, you're gonna
No.
do, that's
So
what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, so the side elevations, we're gonna install, we're gonna revise it to horizontal clapboard painted, but it will kind of follow that brick wall line, so they kind of where the old and the new intersect will mirror kind of that roof line and that line and then that, and it'll go up again.
So the entire, like where the third floor is from the front, will all come back to a third, it'll all be 3 stories to the back?
Correct, yeah, so that kind of corner of the foundation, if you just continue that up, and then, it would eventually intersect with, the third floor is really just a kind of one apartment or one area, so, maybe a quarter of the current floor plan.
Is there gonna be a stair tower in the back too? I mean, you're demolishing that, your entrance to the basement, but you're gonna have something in the back then? Or-
An interior stair to the basement, is that?
No, like a stairway at the back of the building.
Yep.
That's gonna be part of that, okay.
Yeah, so, it's okay. So there it is in plan,
Okay.
there it is in plan again.
So it won't be a part butting out of it, it'll be incorporated into that line of the.
Yeah, this is so, the second means of egress to the corridors,
Mhm.
but there'll also be like a privacy screen. So these units will have their own balconies that it'll all resemble the same materiality, like wood and steel. But yeah, in a way, these balconies are private over here on the left. So this does a couple things. It accomplishes the ADA access for the studio apartment on the ground level. It provides adequate storage for garbage and recycling underneath the stair. And it has the outdoor space for a couple of the units. And we will continue the stair to the roof, but it will only be accessible for maintenance. We're gonna most likely put the mini split units up there for the heating
Okay,
and
so
cooling.
the rooftop is gonna be used for mechanical,
Yeah,
okay.
we might host some wild parties up there. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, no, I mean, you can use rooftop as open space.
Oh,
if you-
okay.
You know, if you want, but you're not required in the T5MS to have an open space, so, that was a question I was curious about. There will be a lift since you're looking at the back elevation, there will be a lift installed adjacent to the stairs,
Right.
for a handicap individual
Okay.
to get up to the floor elevation. And you did mention that these are secondary means of ingress and egress for the second and third floors. So the primary entrance and exit is still gonna be from the Broadway entrance right now, right? You're just this is a secondary means, but what's your
Well,
answer?
this is kind of an outdoor egress. I'm not an expert on what the definition
Okay.
of secondary is, but there's parking in the back, so I'm sure some people will maybe use
Okay.
this as almost as a preferred. I don't know what the definition of primary is.
All right, and well, I mean, they'll be able to park in the back and they'll be able to go into their units via that staircase in the back. Is that-
Right, access the corridor, yeah,
Okay.
correct.
So like mail receptacles, are you planning to have mail? Obviously, it's a 350 Broadway address, so USPS is going to deliver to the
Yeah.
Broadway side. When you enter the stairwell, is there room for a bank of boxes for all of the units?
Yeah, there's a little
Okay.
alcove and there's a.
So the internal.
Small, yeah, kind of landing as you come in
Okay.
before the stairs.
Yep. And you mentioned, you did mention the storage of cans, refuse in the back. So I had a conversation with the Public Works superintendent to see how it would work, because obviously you can't bring those cans out to Broadway. And I'm presuming you're going to be bringing out to Jansen. Is that how? I'm just got to be clear on how you're going to handle refuse and recycles. What they told us today was that you have to choose either they'll be put out to Broadway or you'll put them out to Jansen. I would say that because you're a Broadway address, putting them out to Broadway, putting things out on Broadway makes more sense. They won't issue totes for Broadway. It'll be cans, you're allowed up to 8 because you're a multifamily commercial. You can have 8 cans, 32-gallon cans of refuse or 18 large bags. That will be your limit for Broadway. And then you obviously have to separate also your cardboard and your recycles. And then they will pick up on Broadway. So I'm not sure with 7 units.
But if the garbage is in the back, in the parking lot, why would you put it on Jansen? Why would you?
Well-
Put it on Broadway when you have a sidewalk and students. go by?
You would get, if you put it on Jansen, you have to use the city totes. All right, so
With the
you
wheels.
get 1 brown tote and you can have as many recycling totes as you want.
Okay,
If you want additional brown, which is the straight refuse, which you'll probably need more than 1,
oh, yeah.
you do have to pay a fee of $450 a year. So depending on how many you need.
Per tote?
Well, and there's one other issue if it's put out on Jansen, how it gets to Jansen. There's no public property going from his property to Jansen. There is an easement, a parking easement that does say for ingress and egress to those parking spots. But it's very hard, like there is an argument that can easily be made that that easement only extends to cars coming in and out and not necessarily dragging your garbage cans across someone else's property.
I have a van, I can put them in the van, you drive it 30 yards and then drive.
That is a very creative solution. But
You're willing to do that?
potentially for you to avoid, because obviously any litigation over an easement would not involve the city of Kingston, it would just involve you and the other property owner.
Yeah,
So that might be something you might want to clarify with the other property owner. If you are planning on utilizing Jansen for your.
okay,
I mean, your tenants, you know, it's quite possible that the tenants could just store it, you know, because and just bring it out once a week. And the
Yeah.
tenants could do it individually on their own, and then
Yeah.
you don't have to deal with a site manager
yes.
or somebody to have that responsibility. And ultimately, you get a commercial tenant in there, and maybe you'll do something, you know, store it in the basement, or ultimately, maybe, you know, some kind of a commercial carrier.
Right. Good options to,
Yeah, so I think one thing that would be a condition would be finalize what you're gonna do.
okay.
I mean, you can think about it.
My preference would be to store it outside in the back and then figure out a way, either have an agreement with the parking lot or just put it in a van and drive it and drop it off again.
But at $450 per tow, it might be cheaper just to do a dumpster
Yeah, do you have
That's what you do. So,
per tow.
yeah.
The plans that we currently submitted, I believe it was like 6 totes that, the totes are, you know, modular, so they can tuck in better underneath the stair, but we could consider a more of a commercial, like a 5-yard or a 2-yard.
Would that entail, having an agreement with
That's
the
what I'm saying.
hospital there too for the
Yeah.
park? Yeah.
Yeah, because
Access.
whatever carrier is gonna have to access over the hospital's property.
Okay, I'll just stick with the van and bring it to Jansen. The hospitals has a lot of crazy loans and liens, and it's not just like knocking on your neighbor's door to speak to them, so it's quite.
Yeah, I mean, the only thought would be that, you know, down the road, I mean, it is the hospital's property, and yeah, it's a parking lot today,
Mhm.
but 10 years from now, the hospital might choose, you know, that they don't need that parking lot
Yeah,
for their campus anymore.
okay.
They're gonna offer it up for sale, and it becomes developed, you know, and so then, you know, even though you have a right of way there,
Parking, yeah.
that trash thing becomes a bigger problem.
Well, if a van can always go to the deeded spots, my hope is that the trash can back out the way the van came. Even if it's like, maybe there's a parking lot that you have to drive through, I don't know. Yeah, could.
Yeah,
Yeah, even if they develop parts of their parcel, you still have that easement in place,
Right,
that whatever
the
they
easement
do is gonna be
continues.
subject to your 6 spots and the ingress and egress from those spots.
It's good, you have a lot of experience here, I would not have thought about the trash this much.
So that can be a condition, and that can be, they'll present a plan to you at staff level. All right, how many spots do you have? Do you have any parking spots needed to you or to?
In the back,
Yeah.
I believe it's like 4 or 5 or something.
So there's 6 total, but right now there is a right, I don't know if you went through back in 2020. Apparently, the hospital got a right to use the spots number 1 and 2
Okay,
for 5 years.
right, that
And
expires.
that right will be expiring in 2025,
Right.
in July,
But he has 6 spots there?
technically.
Yeah, after 2025, we're.
After 25, right now, he's got 4.
Okay.
Is it okay if we just propose the totes under, as it's drawn, or do you still want more clarity for the? Because I want to start building this thing.
If you,
Yeah, we'll figure out, I guess we'll just have to put something in writing for the record. We'll put it in writing,
Okay,
okay?
great.
So there's 7 units proposed, residential?
Residential, yes.
Okay. And you mentioned the affordable component of it too.
Yes,
One of them has to be affordable.
correct. We're doing 3,
You're doing 3.
correct.
Well, for purposes.
1 permanently and 3 for the next 20 years through an agreement with Bartek.
Okay.
And there's a, yeah,
We're jumping around here a little bit. There's a, you know about the recreation fee? You've been advised about that?
I did not know about it till recently, and with, it's this, like, everything, every quote at every level is, as everyone knows, is not less than you think it is, it's significantly
Okay.
more.
Well, you're gonna be responsible for paying for three units for the rec fee. Is that
Okay.
$4,000 a unit?
Mhm.
So that'd be $12,000.
No,
3.
3?
No,
So that's $9,000.
That was something that I was hoping to explore a little bit, you know, considering, so appreciate that the kind of quote unquote 4 units, I mean, they haven't been 4 units for 30+ years, but let's call them 4 units. And then we're building out the building a little bit more. Is there any consideration for the 3 that's
Well,
going to be affordable?
You get 4 for free.
Okay,
And then anything over 4 is $3,000 a unit. So that's what we're.
up to $3,000.
Right, and it's discretionary when there is recreation facilities typically provided on a property, on a project site. So when there are larger parcels of land, they might provide a pool, or they might provide like a playground structure if there's a lot of kids.
Okay,
That's when those types of amenities are considered in, and that's when the fee might be reduced.
okay.
Right.
What about the consideration of building and committing to affordable housing units well above and beyond the minimum requirement for a period of 20 years?
What is this 20 years?
We worked with, I don't know the acronym, but there's
There's funding that is Bartek is the Housing Initiatives Director, and there is funding available for properties to get, to construct affordable housing units. In order for them to receive that fund, those grant funds, they have to commit those units. So it's funding that he's getting, but he has to develop them as affordable units, and they have to be maintained as affordable units for a certain period of time.
for 20 years.
So that's in addition to the form-based code,
Right.
right? Because the form-based code requires 1.
So you said you want to explore going to the Recreation Commission to plead your
Well-
case with them, or? I mean-
So have they been consulted and written anything, or we're just kind of assuming we're going to the max?
Well,
We always go to the max.
I mean, we have had applicants petition the Recreation Commission to consider,
The code requires us to go to the max. You go to the Recreation Commission, and they will make a determination whether they think it should be lowered or not, and provide a recommendation back to us. Past precedent is unless you're providing parkland on your property, you're gonna pay the max.
I don't know what their schedule is, when their meeting schedule is, but you're gonna have to get on their agenda
Yeah.
to plead your case with them. It'll delay it'll be a condition of approval on our end. So whenever, we have to wait for them to rule, and then we can't issue you, the right to go ahead to do this until we get that.
Got it.
It's just, it's a process that's built into the city's law. It's not.
No, I understand. I appreciate the explanation.
Yeah.
In the notes that I was provided earlier today, the request was that whatever payment would be done I guess, before
Building permit.
is there any flexibility on that being at the certificate of occup, before a certificate of occupancy?
That's the policy, that's been policy.
That's the law. It has to be paid in order to get.
Right, well, yeah, okay, I understand that it's the guidelines, yeah,
It's not a guideline, it's law.
okay,
That's the way it was set up. Yes, you have to pay the fee in order to get the building permit. And if you don't want to pay the fee, you have to go to Parks and Rec Commission first at their meeting in order to get a recommendation and come back to us.
okay. Got it.
That's the process we're going with the city across the board.
Understood, appreciate that detailed
Yeah.
explanation.
But that's your choice and you have the right to do it. It's just that, in order for us to vote tonight, it has to be paid. We don't have the flexibility of waiving it.
And not even the issue, when it's issued? So when is so it's, you would,
We approve tonight.
Yeah.
You go down to the city hall, you pay your rec fee, they give you a ticket, you go down to building department, you get your building permit.
okay,
Well, with other conditions.
Yeah, there's gonna be other.
That's the general process for that.
That'd probably be the
Yeah.
final.
If it's not paid, you don't get your building permit.
Yeah.
All right, so you're clear on that then, with that aspect, that component?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, got it.
Let's talk about the building materials. So I know that you, on your plans, they do show that it's a metal siding, and I know that you have, indicated that you would, we gave you the code requirements and that you would change that to, did you determine what material you're gonna use? You're gonna use a hardy board or just a wood? What?
Correct, yeah, like 6-inch hardy board, cement, fiber cement board, horizontal. And we could update the elevations. to
Okay,
indicate
yeah,
that.
so the plan set's gonna have to be updated to reflect that change.
Yeah.
And another, change that I'd like to see on the plan set is, I know that there are windows that are gonna be infilled. And
Correct,
so if you could, on the elevations of the architect, just ghost those windows and just indicate, that prior window filled in, just so we have the locations of where they were. And
okay,
that they, just like, that's why I say ghost them in,
yeah.
just kind of
like a dotted line or something.
indicate, right? So they'll be filled with, like, if they're in a brick area, they'll be filled with brick, right? And
Yeah.
they'll be filled with a board, and so just want to note that.
Yeah,
okay?
there'll be a lot of extra existing brick that we'll try to reuse to match and, reuse it.
So you think you'll have, you'll take brick from one portion of the building to use so that it'll match that? Okay, good, that's good. All right, okay,
Some of them will say Hutton on them, so I know where they came from.
okay, good.
Good.
So, elevations.
The plan for the basement, what's, you wanna, illustrate that first, what's your plan down
There will be, some of the mechanicals, each unit will have its own electric, hot water heater. There'll be some cage storage units with sprinklers going into each one. And the storage unit will have a new partition, a fire-rated partition, kind of the back of the building. Some of the water main and all the sprinkler, the 6-inch water main will come in from Broadway.
So the residents will have some access to some of the basement then, right?
Yeah, I mean, I like the fact that you are providing each unit with a storage area in the basement. I think that's a really good idea. You do show some, it looks like bike storage down there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we just want to, let you know that electric bikes cannot be charged internally. The fire department has a strict rule about not allowing that, so I don't know if your tenants do have electric bikes, that might be a problem, where they might be able to charge them.
Okay.
Because they can't charge them in their units, and they won't allow them to charge like in a basement setting here.
Okay,
So that's something to think about,
okay,
externally, maybe in the rear, but again,
Yeah.
then it becomes a security thing.
yes, yes. We are putting a charge point car charger in the back of the building for the
Okay.
residents. But, I don't know, maybe to the point about the basement, if code allows it, maybe we have very few to no outlets in the storage unit to not allow people to charge a bike down there, just for, eliminate the, desire to want to charge it there. But
Yeah,
I have to check, I don't know.
yeah, well, you wouldn't have an outlet in the storage unit. You'd have a light fixture, but you wouldn't have an outlet in there, correct?
Well, yeah, if there were outlets, I would maybe see if they could be removed.
Code requires it.
In a
the
storage unit? Code requires an outlet?
Now, every so many feet, because otherwise
Okay,
it gives a temptation to have,
Extension.
yeah.
okay.
There's a electric bike charge units, okay?
I mean, you can have an electric outlet outside right next to the car start charging station.
Yeah, I mean,
They can plug right
It's
in.
good, metal in the walls, they can put their bike rack, just tie their bike to the cement wall there.
Right.
Okay. You could definitely put signage up, no electric bike charging in the basement.
yeah,
Is that part of the city code now?
it's fire department has been very strict on that. I don't know it's code, but just because of all of
I don't
the
understand. your-
fire, issues between that, yeah. Um,
Never mind that, I was more than anything else.
You have any outdoor lighting planned for here?
Yes.
Okay.
For just safety egress, like down sconces, there'll be a, dark sky certified lighting.
Okay, so we'll want to see where the fixtures are gonna be located
Okay, there is a.
and a detail of the fixture, just we get a cut sheet from
Yeah,
the manufacturer.
okay. Do you need IES files or photometric files or
Yeah, if you can get that, that would be great too.
Sure.
You say they're dark sky.
dark sky certified? Yeah. I believe there's one at every patio in the back.
Yeah.
Side, I mean, not on the sides.
And they'll be controlled by the tenants, or will they be, like on timers?
I have not gotten that far yet, but
Okay.
most
I would
likely a light
Presume the stairwell itself would need to be
timer.
managed by the building.
Photo-
Right.
Photo sensor.
And then the deck areas or balcony areas that are individual to the units, I think can be controlled by them independently. But
Yeah,
the staircase will need to be, correct, regularly.
the switching plan may already indicate that, but I'm not.
Okay. Yeah, you remember the floor plans?
Yeah.
Just quickly while we're on utilities, so, the building, is going to be all electric, or are you intending any other,
Just water and electric.
yeah, okay. Okay, and you're gonna use the existing service connections? Have they been evaluated for, condition wise? I'm thinking, the water lateral should be probably looked at, I would evaluate it just to make sure that it doesn't need to be upgraded.
What's a water lateral?
It's the connection between the water main
Yeah,
and your building.
oh, yeah, well,
That's your
because of the
lateral.
building code with the sprinkler, and so it's like a 3/4 inch.
Okay, so,
You would bring in like a 6 inch that's gonna cut through Broadway, yeah, so it's
Okay, so-
extremely expensive operation.
okay, all right, so you're putting in new.
Brand new water, and then Central Hudson's been out a couple times, and the current proposal is to put the meters in the cellar
Mhm.
where they currently are located, and bring it in from a pole in the parking lot.
Okay, oh, from the rear,
Yep,
okay,
yeah.
is that how it comes in now?
Yeah, it currently comes in on this, on
Okay.
its north side.
Okay, and it comes in from an overhead connection,
Correct.
all right,
Yeah, it's gonna have to be raised up because the building will extend
Right.
up higher.
okay, I didn't realize it came in from the Jansen Avenue side,
Yeah.
interesting,
Ways along the ground.
yeah,
It's important.
okay. Okay, so we should have those connections shown on the plan.
All right, so again, just to refresh my memory here, what's the makeup of the 7 units you're proposing? Again, just to describe.
Okay, so what's on the screen now is the ground floor retail is on the upper part of the screen.
Mhm.
And then in the back is the studio unit that's accessible directly from the parking.
Okay.
With the small lift. And then below on the screen is what is considered a typical floor unit. So there is a 1 bedroom in the front. You can see the partition wall here. There's a studio in the middle. And then the 2 bedroom, the doorway is accessible kind of at the end of the corridor closest to the rear of the building. It has two full baths and 2 bedrooms.
And that's the second floor, that one?
Yeah,
The
ground
one, the
floor.
bottom one?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there's another floor above it that mirrors that.
So the third is exactly the same as the second, correct?
Correct. The only distinction would be that the outdoor space is only for this 1 bedroom in the front.
Oh, okay, right.
So like the studio and the 2 bedroom would look down over the terrace floor below.
And are the 3 affordable units, are they just peppered throughout your 7, or do you have them specifically designed, is there specific units that are going to be designated the affordable component? Like,
Yeah, I'm not certain if it has to be like designated. It's primarily just the rent per apartment style.
Yeah.
So I could check with the department downstairs. If they can be like swapped and they just have to be a minimum of 3, but.
Well, I mean, are your 2 bedrooms going to be the affordable, or is it the one, how do you? If you haven't explored that yet, that's fine too, I didn't know if you had an answer for that,
Project, I mean, in larger project, when you have a larger project, let's say you were doing 50 units.
Yeah.
Then they wouldn't want you to have all of your affordables be all of the studios. They would want it to be a mix of the unit types, but also the units would have to be interspersed throughout the project, like they couldn't be all clustered in one building.
Okay.
So it's trying to just create that diversification throughout a project, so, but
Understood.
your project is really small, so it's, I don't know that it's going to be an issue here.
Okay.
Does
Right.
capacity play a factor in that? Like, let's say he says that he just wants the studios to be affordable. Is there any issue with that?
No,
But the finishes and all the interior, it's not gonna change. Maybe that might be another question.
I know that, it's not in the staff notes, but that, you had gotten a copy of the, Heritage Review, earlier today.
Correct.
Have you given any thought to the recommendations? It's advisory only, but the recommendation, was really, they're looking at it from the visual aesthetic, along the Broadway corridor primarily. And one of the recommendations was recognize that the windows that are being used to replace, the entire, throughout the entire structure have a vinyl exterior and a wood interior. And he was asking whether or not the front facade windows could be wood on the outside, and wood on the inside, and the balance of the building could be the vinyl exterior. But to maintain the integrity of the visual along the streetscape, to make them a wood exterior, if that would be something you would be amenable to. And that was looking at both the buildings on both, sides, that flank this structure, and looking at the integrity of those, that's been maintained. Looking at the existing windows, they are wood on the exterior. That was the only recommendation there.
Okay. I haven't had a chance to review that in detail.
Okay, and that I think it's an inappropriate, it's very routine type of comment, but I think it's appropriate. This building is a beautiful building. It really is.
Is that a requirement?
It's an advisory recommendation. Yeah,
Well, we can word it that
I mean,
the applicant can,
I'm just saying, I mean, a lot of times people also go with the metal clad now, which is very architectural with the different types of molding, but then it's no maintenance because you have a 3-story building here. So if you put wood on it in 5 years, it needs painting, and then
I
buildings tend to
understand.
get
I'm just saying,
dingy
it's
because
an
they're not maintained.
advisory opinion. It's based on, it's an architectural kind of comment.
I follow,
and
I'm just,
certainly-
that's, as a planning board member,
look at it.
just, that's my hesitation is,
Mhm.
is continued maintenance moving forward in the future.
Well, I would hope that he intends to be a long-term owner of this property.
Yeah,
and-
just, I mean, he's
yeah.
using hardy board and all the different siding
Yeah.
and the other architectural elements that are obviously more maintenance, so they stay nice and clean, so.
Yeah.
That would be my only hesitation.
all the construction activity that's gonna go on, you've got areas designated for staging and removal of debris, and that's all part of your plan? Do you have a plan for that?
The demo that has occurred with the issued permit has just been put directly in the back of vans and brought to the dump, so that we'll continue to do that, not have a container on site. And as far as staging, the retail space is accessible on the back. I believe that's like 5,000 square feet of just clear open space, so we would use the interior of that. So the main bulk of the storage would be during the framing of the upper level, so the retail will remain open.
So that's good. So using the ground floor basically is gonna be your staging area.
Hardware. store.
Yeah. So most of your material deliveries and all of that, you anticipate coming through that rear
Yeah,
and not on the Broadway side? Do you ever anticipate needing to close off Broadway or the sidewalk? Maybe to put the windows in or something like that?
that's a good suggestion. The other would be during the water main.
Okay,
That's-
Okay.
Yeah.
so when you get to that point, you will need to just reach out to DPW and
Okay.
get a sidewalk permit, and they'll, to close off the sidewalk, and actually a street opening permit to open. But the water, your plumber and
Yeah,
that
they
would probably
mentioned-
be well aware of that. There's Dig Safely to call as well when
Okay.
any
Right,
digging happens, okay?
great.
Do we have a loose end still with the rec fee as you go to?
I'm sorry?
With the rec fee, do we have a loose end still with that? Do we?
Well, you can make this recommendation, it can be part of the decision if he wants to, approach the commission, that would be, I mean, I wouldn't want that to be a holdup.
No,
Yeah, I mean, that,
we could go for the full, and then if he wants to, yeah, we're gonna recommend, we're going back to the rec fee now. We're gonna recommend the full $9,000, and if you wanna petition the recreation department, as a result, that's up to you, so, okay? Does that sound good?
Yeah. This is in everybody else.
Yeah. You have anything else, sir, for, any other questions from the board? Yeah, I'm looking forward to see what this thing looks like, at the end, so it's gonna be nice.
That's
Good. All right, so under seeker, this is an unlisted action, so we have to, have a determination of environmental significance. I have to form you a short environmental assessment form. Staff has indicated it is in order. At this time, I'll make a motion that we approve it. Do I have a second? A second by Matt Gillis. All in favor? Wayne Platt is a yes. Charles Palaco,
Yes.
Robert Jacobson,
Yes.
Matt Gillis,
Yes.
Vince Archer.
Yes.
Okay, that is carried. Thank you. All right, we have a list of conditions and board policies we're going to go over. But at this time, I'll make a motion that we approve item number 3. And Sue's going to go over the conditions and board policies.
okay, so the board policies would be 3, 4, 4A, 6, 7, 7A, 8, 9, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17A, 19, 21, 22, 23, 25, and 26. The board recognizes the advisory comment from the heritage area. The plans will be modified to indicate the utility connections, the new water and the electric. The final resolution of how trash storage and collection to Broadway will be submitted in writing by the applicant. 1 unit is required by this board to be affordable per the form-based code. Recreation fee or payment in lieu of parkland fee, as it's otherwise known, will be paid at $9,000 for 3 units prior to building permit being issued. The elevation drawings will be updated and submitted to staff, and they'll show windows that are going to be filled. They'll be ghosted and using brick from the building elsewhere to match, and the materials will be identified. There's no electric bike charging within the building at all. And an exterior location along with a EV vehicle charging station will be identified. And he will provide the lighting fixture specifications and final locations.
What is recognizing the advisory?
Just recognizing that it read into, we recognize it.
What since it's
Doesn't make-
It's advisory, it's just advisory and
Doesn't make any teeth.
The applicant can do whatever.
correct. Right, we would, I would encourage it, but you don't have to. Just recognize it.
All right, so that is a motion. Do I have a second on that? Second by Matt Gillis. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Mr. Brill, thank you so much for appearing here tonight. I wish you good luck on your project. We'll see how it's going to come out, you know?
Okay, thank you.
You've been very informative. You answered a lot of our questions tonight, so we appreciate that.
All right,
All right?
we'll look forward to meeting you all soon.
Okay.
In the next project.
Okay, good luck, sir. All right, we're old business now. Pardon?
Chester Street.
Good
Thank you, night.
Take care.
I know they're not here. Uh,
So both of these next two items were before you in previous months and were requested to come back when they got clean building inspections and did some updates to their properties. East Chester was a couple months ago and Morass was a couple months before that. So we had them returning today, but maybe something got lost in.
Where are we at with the building department?
Both properties have been inspected and are
Compliant,
compliant.
code compliant.
Yes.
Is there anything for us to
Well,
discuss?
there are some minor issues with East Chester Street, as Sue mentioned earlier today, where there's a dangerous sign on the diner that needs to be secured. These are just minor things that can be addressed.
What is the building department?
We can follow up with those. They're not,
Yeah, we were
they're not.
just gonna talk to the applicant tonight and make them part of, they should cleaned up. Another thing, with East Chester Street, another thing would be, for them, to reduce their window signage. They've got more, and they've got other signs that
That's a
are
zoning.
like,
But why is building nasty?
Well-
These things aren't clear.
Well, they're not code, they're not,
Signage
they're
is
zone, right,
It's a
they're
zoning
not
code.
code, they're not building code, they're
But
doing
who
it for,
enforces the
they're doing
zoning
it,
code?
they went for fire
they
inspection.
went for fire.
But I'm just trying to understand, like, who in the city goes out to these buildings and sees that every window is plastered with signs and that it's a violation of zoning? Who is responsible for that? Not the planning board, so they're not flagging these things. So they're going out, they're inspecting, they're clearing the properties, and then we as a board are turning around and saying, well, even though the building department came out, cleared it and told you okay, we're telling you it's not. That's not fair to applicants. Right, I'm just.
No,
Yeah, I get
It's
what
just
you're
not
saying.
fair, but
Yeah,
I
and
didn't say
these
that.
properties were being inspected for fire code, not necessarily, but as, yeah.
But when they get inspected, they should be getting inspected. I mean, you walk in, you look around.
Right,
Or if we have concerns, we should be providing this list to the building department prior to their inspection. Somehow there's got to be communication.
right.
So, hey, this is what we see, you go out and see what you see, and let's make a list.
But there's a caveat on the bottom of what inspections, I think it's still there, that the property substantially complies with all applicable.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, it's not, this system is broken because this happens repeatedly, that the people come in, they think they're clear, and then we talk to them and they're not. So if we know that we have inspections of the property, then maybe we as an office should be inspecting it first, sending the email and saying, here's what we saw, can you go out and see if this building's clear and take a look at these issues?
Well, two,
So then when it's done, it's done.
with the new code, the city is actually, they're hiring new positions both in the building department and elsewhere to try to have a focus on code enforcement, particularly zoning
Yeah.
and some of
But
these
I
other
mean, I
ones.
mean, in
that have-
fairness to the building department, they can't think of everything, but I mean, if we're seeing things, then we have to tell them prior to them going out there
No,
necessarily.
no, it's an ongoing problem, and it's something that the city is trying to address. So hopefully, with, new positions, better enforcement procedures being put into place, that this won't be a reoccurring problem in the future.
But I mean, obviously, they're not here, we have to table these issues, but can we at least send them a letter or an email and say, hey, board spoke, these are the issues that we have concerns with, can you please address these prior to coming next meeting?
Yes, and I did do that already with East Chester Street, sent him an email, told him what we saw when we were out there, so he's aware of those, I haven't. heard back.
Okay.
So I'll read both items into record, but are we inclined to?
I would just say, I mean, they've obviously worked with the building department, they made a good faith effort, why they're both not here, I don't know, but, I mean, I'm not gonna.
Yeah, and also with the Broadway one, the food truck is on site now, which is, the other building was removed, which is actually, the food truck there looks a lot better, I think, than when the other building was there, just, so we're talking about that too. We're not gonna allow it into,
Food truck's on the street.
pardon?
That food truck was on the street.
It was on the street,
Wasn't it?
it was on the street,
Spent all
and
winter in the yard with a flat tire.
Well, I took a video of it last week, and the food truck was on the property, that the building was removed.
Oh, that's where the food truck is going.
right,
So,
Right, it has been on the street.
But we can
and it
talk
had
about it.
Extension cords running across the sidewalk. It was told that you could not
All they do is move around.
use connect power that way. It's-
all right, let me read these two in the record. We're into old business now.
Yes,
Item 4 is 336 East Chester Street. Special permit renewal for general commercial auto-oriented services and controlled substance sales. Alcohol, tobacco. Section block and lot 48.83-2-1.100, secret determination, transect zone T3N-0, Ward 7, MNZ Realty Holdings Incorporated is the applicant owner. The applicant owner is not here at this time. I will make a motion that we table item number 4 until the April meeting. Robert Jacobson with a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried.
pass me the motion too. Thank you.
Item number 5 is 685 Broadway, special permit renewal for auto sales and repairs. Section block and lot is 56.92-3-21, secret determination, transect zone T5MS. It's in heritage area. Ward 4, Dago A. Maratz is the applicant owner. Mr. Maratz is not here as well. At this time, I'll make a motion that we table item number 5 until our April meeting. I have a second on that. Second by Matt Gillis. And your whiskey. So, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Is there any other business before the board? All right, so time is now 7:02. Let's make a motion that we adjourn. Second by Chuck Palacco. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. I got to sign 252.
I know. What's